inside for Albert. Albert will get the score. Fiddler, his farewell. He tapped into a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. We've got the Take the Two podcast this afternoon, brought to you by Neds. Make sure you go check out all of our bets this week on the Neds app. Follow along with all the pots and everything to come. Origin incoming next week. Another huge week on the Neds app. Sowie, welcome back, mate. Looking good in blue.
I know. Thanks, Kempy. Congratulations,
good,
that little boy.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, they fit. Fits
Good
good.
gear.
It's like this. I'll be having this on Bankstown Sports Club with James Graham next week.
It's a little bit different to style I'd usually go for, but now that I've got it, I love it.
It seems one of those warm ones that you're just going to have for years.
Yeah, it's a good
I'm
one.
very, very grateful. Thank you. Thanks for picking it up, by the way.
That's all right, mate. Little try assist. They are live. Bloke.shop. Go check them out.
Try assist. Do you know
No, you don't think
Matt
so?
Burton got a try assist the other night, even though Bronson Sherry passed the last ball?
Now, just
Supercoach nerds, come at me.
I don't believe me.
Bloke.com, get on there. Let's go.
The try assist, try contribution argument, it's not something to be messed with. We
Okay.
get very emotional over
Well,
that.
I
You'll
can't-
know next year when
I
you're
can't
playing.
wait next year when I exclusively join Sowie's All-Stars 2026.
How fucking good. We've also got Winst with us as well. Kathmandu, she was in Bali last week. Came back a little bit tired, took the day off. Just typical cat fashion. But Winston's here to come off the back fence. How are you, brother?
Good. I said to you earlier, give me a 14 because I'm just off the bench. Last week, off the bench this week. So, yeah, happy to be here. Call me
Kurtman-esque.
Lockie Galvin off the bench.
Oh, Kurtman-esque. I was just going to say about Kat, though. Look, some can and some can't. Yeah. She thinks it's an SG ball season, 8 weeks, pops in, pops out. You've got to be built differently to play NRL.
Mate.
That's all I'll say.
Who needs a holiday in round 14?
No one.
What he's doing, it's unbelievable. Maybe she'll be back next week. Maybe she won't. Fuck knows. We'll see. Also, guys, next week, our episode with Sowie will be a preview for Origin. So we'll be giving all of our thoughts, all of our predictions and whatnot. You'll then get my live reaction after the game. And then I'll be on the Sunshine Coast for the CBA Bowl. The under-19s Origin. Very exciting. Stay tuned for more details on that.
I'll be posting in the Roo Crew some thoughts about the female game as well, the under-19s.
Yes, I'm actually very keen to get your thoughts. I
Yes.
think we've got the coaches of the male and female teams are coming onto the podcast over the next week or so to give their player to watch and whatnot. Might get yours too, actually, during the
Well,
week.
I know Courtney Crawford very well. She was my assistant last year at the Dragons.
Yes.
I know some of those, well, a lot of those girls in the Blues side, but there's a lot of Fetu potential Samoan players in that Queensland side that I've been in contact with this week.
Yep.
Wishing them good luck, talking to their parents, letting them know they're on the Fetu Samoa radar.
I love that. How good. Unreal. Next week I'll have an episode on, it'll be out, I think, Tuesday afternoon, 3 p.m, so stay tuned for that. All right, we've got a couple of topics to rip into, a question a little bit later that I'm looking forward to. But our first hot topic we're going to get stuck into, mate, kick pressure. We saw the penalty over the weekend that I personally thought was an absolute joke. Blaze Talangi and Jerome Luai. I 100% believe halves need to be protected. I think it's the same as all sports around the world. Your superstars, the guys that
Quarterbacks.
butter your bread, your quarterbacks, they need to be protected at all costs. But it doesn't mean they get a free pass. You're a kicker. I'm keen to hear your thoughts on it. I think I know what they'll be, but what are your first thoughts?
Yeah, my first thoughts are we don't know what kick pressure is anymore. We don't understand how much contact you can make with them, where you can run through. And then people say, well, you just can't run through the leg. Well, that's different because Jerome Luai is essentially making a tackle. And I tweeted out the other day, jokingly, but I've said it a couple of times, we're going to get to a point where you have to tell the referee that you're kicking. Or that you're going to run the ball in the last. Because right now, the kick-out one is a penalty. I can understand that. No, can't touch the kicker. But how do you put pressure on? How do you can't push them, because we've seen Mitch Moses get a couple of penalties over the years where players come. I think Hudson Young may have pushed him one year and he got a penalty. So there's a real grey area there that week to week dictates whether it's good kick pressure or not. Because the only thing I would say is you have to take the charge down now to play altogether. Because kick out, that's his play. He's done so many times where he's come up, done a great charge down. It's a great play. If he gets it wrong, though, he could break someone's leg.
I've thought it for a while. If I was coaching, I want pressure, I would tell my players not to go for the charge down anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't like the charge down for a couple of reasons. You've got to know you got to get the ball back, otherwise it's a huge play. The way I think you could fix it up is if he's still got the ball, and we're going to look probably Winston will have something, but if Blaze Talangi's still got the ball and he hasn't let go of it, that should be play on to
Yeah,
tackle.
fucking right, yeah. And if he dummies that kick and tries to run and Jerome Lowe puts him in the dirt, it's play of the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I think we need some clarification on what the referees are looking for or what the bunker's looking for, because essentially Jerome Lowe and the Tigers could have challenged that.
Yeah.
I reckon they could have challenged that play, and people will say to me, "Yeah, but you got to protect. Well, I got to protect this kicker, but I got to protect the integrity of the game as well." Because right now, if you're a forward, see, Jerome Lowe is going to be in the team next week. But if you're a Shuka or one of these bench forwards that's come on and you come out and you go up and just spook him and he steps you and runs and scores, guess what, champ? Just on the sideline.
Yeah.
So I just think right now it's so messy. And for the people that jump down my throat on Twitter about the kick out thing, there's no way next Wednesday night we will see a penalty. And we'll see a penalty. There's no way we'll see a sin bin.
Yeah.
And you won't see it in the final series for that. So I don't know why we came to the sin bin the other day.
I think as well when it comes to halves, mate, like, once again, if I'm coaching a side too, I'm saying to my halfback, any motherfucker puts a finger on you, you dive 15 metres out of the way.
100%.
You lean into that as much as you can. I think they are milking the shit out
Well,
of
we
it.
know that Mitch accentuated the fact
Fucking
that he
oath,
got
he does
touched
it all
the
the
other
time.
night, which is,
Yep.
I think people go, "Oh, what a dog!" Yeah, I think smart. He knows he's going to get a penalty.
Yep.
Guess what? He's out there to win. He doesn't care whether you like him or not.
Especially that play. It's not a penalty on that spot. It's a penalty from where the ball lands.
That's right. Where a
It's
ball
a 50-metre
lands. So,
turnaround.
it's going to be a bed bug mine until we come out and dictate what the rule's going to be.
Can I jump in here? Sorry, just on that point, I was going to ask, do you think it'll get to the stage where players are literally coached to just leave their leg up until it gets hit? Like, is it going to get to that stage?
No, I don't think you can coach technique on that, but you can coach if you get touched at all, go down. Throw your leg around, throw your head back, anything like that. I mean,
Yeah, kind of like NBA.
Bulldogs fans, I would know. there's your timestamp of the week.
I love that.
Oh, I know.
I love the the Wiggles double fingers too. I have finger guns. I'm heaps into it. Fucking fantastic. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's one of those things. It's going to be a grey area because I don't think the NRL is going to put their foot down anytime soon because I don't think they know how to deal with it. I really don't.
If you've got the ball still in both hands and you haven't taken that one hand away, it's fair game.
Fair game.
Fair game.
Okay.
As long as you're not diving at the legs, we're not saying that. We're talking about the tackle that Jerome made was a good tackle and good kick pressure. He wrapped his arms around. Years ago, it was wrap your arms around, take him to the ground. Now we're pretty much saying you can't touch them.
Can't touch them. Yeah. What when you were playing? What?
Free for all.
Yeah, it was just a free for all?
Yeah, Steve Price nearly got me once down at Wollongong.
Yeah.
I think he charged down. They ended up going the length maybe, but yeah, it was scary stuff. I think a Cowboys player got me maybe 07, maybe 08 up there coming through, and you just sort of did your best. Like if you got touched at all.
Was it like that at the end of your career, or had it started to?
It had started to be the wrap around. You had to wrap and actually attempt to make a tackle.
Yeah.
But I think it's an easy fix. They just need to decide what they want to do with it. Yeah, because otherwise, if you're a team right now, like if the Tigers challenge that, who says that was a bad tackle?
Yeah.
If they slow it down, because they slow everything down, don't forget. They
Yes.
don't watch it in full pace. So I think that you're going to see more and more of that.
Well, the good thing about the NRL is, mate, we're really good at easy fixes. Watch us make it look very difficult.
Yes.
Okay, now, our next hot topic, we're going to talk about the top four sides. I think it's pretty fair to say there is a clear top four teams, and I don't think the others are overly close to it. 3 weeks ago, you could have told me it was a top five with the Sharkies, but the Sharks over the last few weeks have just fallen off the rugby league heap at the moment. So it's those four teams. And I think the big standout for me, mate, and obviously those four teams, the Wars, the Raiders, Canterbury, and the Melbourne Storm. I want to talk to you about the style of footy that two of those teams in particular are playing. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, well, look, the Raiders come into a really weird period at the moment. They've got 3 buys over the next 12 weeks. So that's a bit of a concern and a watch for me. And not the fact that I don't think they'll drop out of the 4, but you're in a rhythm at the moment.
Yep.
You've been on the road. You've had long road trips. You've had big wins. You know, all that. You want to keep that momentum. So that'll be a watch for me. But I just think the Raiders and Warriors play this style of high completion, nitty-gritty, stick to our plan. We know what our best plan is. And I said it a couple of weeks ago. I think the Bulldogs have parts of that.
Yep.
Although my big watch on the Bulldogs is their attack, and I think it'll evolve more with Galvin once they make the switch, and I don't think it's too far away.
Yep.
The Storm can blow you out, but they're a little bit different. They sort of rely on that a little bit more. I don't think they want to go the grind
That's my big concern with
back
them.
and forth
Yep.
because they have got that star power and they can do it. But I reckon last year they tried to out Penrith, and they said, that's not us. We've got so much strike here. Let's just go after the game. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I wonder if, because for me, like, yeah, they tried to out Penrith, and I agree with you. It's not their style of play, but like, I just look around the comp right now, like that Penrith side from last year and the last few years, I don't think they exist anymore, and I don't think they're expressed in Canterbury or in Canberra or those sides personally.
No, agree.
Like,
But
I think
that's why Melbourne had to. Their style last year, they stuck to their style.
Yeah.
But in the grand final, I thought they went too far to Penrith.
Yeah,
style.
okay.
I thought
Yeah.
Penrith strangled them to the point where they're like, we just got to go one more set. I think Melbourne have Pappenhausen and Munster where they can just go zing, zing. Let's try and like they might have to. The grand final this year might be 32-30. That's the way the grand final might be this year.
No, mate, I just, my argument against that, history tells us, mate, the game is going to be high scoring. There's going to be points everywhere, 6 against, penalties all year. We'll get to September and the referees will go, swallow it, and it'll be tight affairs.
What if it's Raiders Warriors?
Yeah, that's exactly what it'll be. I think it'll be a tight,
See, I just don't think they change their style right now, and it reminds me of the 19 Raiders. Offloads, change of direction, challenge you one-on-one versus like trying to get to a point. They don't finesse their way around either of these sides. Okay?
Yeah.
The Bulldogs, their attack needs some work, and like I said, I think Galvin will help that once he gets into that number 7 role. The top 4 stand out above, but and they're understanding their style. But I think the Raiders and Warriors for me have impressed me most because they know what they're good at, and they're backing that to the hill. Like Ethan Strange, what's he great at? Running the football. What's he do on the weekend to get him back in the game? Runs the footy.
On the football.
So it's simple for them. They know what their best style is.
The Raiders are coming second. They're as far as the whole comp for offloads. They've got 160. Knights are third, 143. Dragons third, 139. Storm, 137. Who do you reckon in first place is? And they're 15 offloads ahead of the Canberra Raiders, who, keep in mind, the Raiders haven't had a bye yet. So they've also played more games than this team.
Is it Warriors?
It's the fucking Tigers.
Yeah.
That surprises me a little bit, to be that high.
Yeah, it's the Warriors. Everyone talks about completion rate, right, or whatever. So you're talking about offloads, but Warriors had the best completion rate, I think, for 4 years in a row, and they missed the 8, or they finished down the bottom of the 8. Remember that little period they had?
Yeah.
It was in the old big league. You know, you'd go to the back.
Yeah.
It's what they do off the back of that. So you can have 1 million offloads, but you might have 4 in one set, but you might go 5 meters. Do you know what I mean? Like you might. Whereas the Warriors, they're completing. Raiders are completing. They've got ball runners like Timoko. They've got. They had Sevilio. They've got. At the back, Savage. They've got Chris. They've got all these guys that are ball runners off the offload, not like try and shift to the outside. So if they get a quick one pass, bang, and they just run, they challenge you. They're back in that style. Warriors very much the same. They're not a finesse side. They're not going to go out the back. Chance. You think about the top 4 teams. Only one's a specialist fullback.
Yeah.
Because it's all offload, change of direction, stick to our style. Everyone else underneath that, Hammer, Scott Drinkwater, Reece Walsh, Tom Trebojevic, James Tedesco, like Clint Gutherson, they're still in that finesse mode. I think the finesse mode's gone now. There's not. How many times do you see him get through? And that was my criticism of the Dogs, and I think Galvin will help that now. But when they had Sexton and Tracy, they never play at the back to Connor Tracy.
Yeah.
Ever. So as a defence, it's hard to plan for sometimes, but mostly you would know that it's all frontline stuff.
Fuck, it's interesting. Loving it.
It's the best for the comp.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't think a 32-30 grand final would be bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying it'd be
said-
bad. I don't see it personally, but yeah.
I could see it. I could see it 32-30, something like that.
In saying that, I mean, that Broncos-Panthers grand final a few years ago, that was a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, what was it, 28, 24, 26,
something
24?
like that, which is reasonably high-scoring for a grand final.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about those top 4 teams. Now, I think a big factor at the end of this season is going to be, are we all in agreement that those top 4 sides are going to be the top 4 sides at the end of the year? Okay, I'm not sure if I can see a team that's able to, unless the Sharkies turn everything around instantly. I just think the gap between those top four and the other ones with how good they're playing, like the Canberra Raiders have got 3 buys to come.
Barring injury to key players, yes.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, all those teams, mate, they have had injuries. They seem to be able to overcome them all for me. But yeah, but barring a really bad injury run or whatever it might be, let's say those 4 teams are it. My big concern is, the old saying used to be you have to finish top 4 to win the comp, which I agree with. But man, I think this year you probably have to finish top 2 because if the Warriors finish in the top 2, they are 2 wins in New Zealand away from a grand final. The Raiders finish top 2, they're 2 wins in Canberra away, Melbourne down there. The Bulldogs, I think it'll be the first top 4 ever where no matter who you play, you have to get on a plane.
I'm going to say this, Bulldogs fans, you need to win the minor premiership or finish in the top 2.
Mate, I think they all need to finish in the top 2. I think it's not you need to finish top 4, it's top 2.
I would hate to see the Bulldogs have to go to New Zealand in the first week, come back and then have to play maybe Sharks
and
at
that's
Shark
the big
Park
factor,
or
isn't it?
Dolphins
It's about
at
backing
Redcliffe.
up that game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fucking war.
Yeah, because if you play against Warriors, even Storm, imagine if they flipped and the Melbourne Storm somehow finished in the top 2 and Bulldogs slept and went to 3, they have to go to Melbourne, then you have to come back. And for us in 2009, we lost to Parramatta in week 1. We had to go to Brisbane the next week.
Yeah.
Like the Cauldron. And we did that in 11 as well. Whereas when we won in 10, it was like sleep in your same bed, keep everything the same, all that kind of stuff. The Bulldogs are built for it, but I reckon they would love to just be at a core with 70,000 for 2 games in a row.
100%.
Like if they're playing the Storm or the Warriors week 1 at a core, there'll be 75,000 there.
Yep.
They should win that game.
Where do you least want to go, Winston? If it's a week 1 finals, where's the last one you want to go to?
Melbourne. New Zealand's obviously further, but I feel like Melbourne's probably the most intimidating, just historically one of the hardest road trips. But in saying that, Canberra in the finals, sold out, cold. Yeah, it's just honestly none of them. You don't want to go to any 3. Flip a coin.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong answer.
No, there's not. If you're ranking them, I don't want to go. I think you would love to go to Melbourne. Like you'd relish the challenge of going to Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'd want to go to Canberra.
I was going to say New Zealand. I don't reckon I'd want a bar of that shit over there. They're going to pack
Depends
it
what
out.
time the kickoff is. If it's the 5:30, half daytime, half night time, that's a nightmare. But Raiders cold, sticky down the sideline, big jacket on, just screaming at everyone.
If it's week 1, they would have to put the Warriors game either the Sunday afternoon or the Saturday 5:30.
It'd have to be the Sunday. Well, no, it'll have to be the Saturday because the travel. You have to try and get extra days travel.
Yeah, so it'd have to be Saturday.
It'll be the
5:30
Saturday
game.
5:30 game. Nightmare.
Whereas if you're playing Canberra, it can be whenever.
Let us know in the comments. We've got comments
let
on this.
us know.
Power
which one
rankings.
you'd lean towards.
Where don't you want to go? The Dogs fans will go, we'll go anywhere.
Which team do you think it's most important for them to finish 1 or 2 out of those 4 sides?
Raiders and Bulldogs.
Raiders
Raiders
and
because they're
Bulldogs.
young. They'll feel familiar. First time maybe to that big stage. Bulldogs because I don't think you want to travel and be on the road when a core's such an advantage. Their crowd, what they're doing right now, and yes, I've had my run-ins with Bulldogs fans, but what their crowd is creating right now is an 18th man that is legit. They are. They stood out in the rain last week. 65,000 stood out in the rain. Side was struggling. Intercept. Everything goes against them. Kick out, the penalty. They all stayed. They all stayed to the end. It's such an advantage. And if they made the grand final, it would be like us in 2010. It would be 80-20, maybe 90-10.
Yeah, it could be closer to 90-10. Do you agree with that, Wins? Do you think that your Bulldog side is the side that needs it the most out of that 4?
Obviously, yeah, you definitely don't want to travel. I think, use the Warriors as an example. They travel all season anyway, so, they're half used to it in a sense, where the Bulldogs, especially this year, we've had 3 interstate games or 4 interstate games the entire season, so we're definitely not used to traveling, so it's hard to argue against.
They went to Brisbane, got beat. They went to Canberra. They started 20-0 down. 75,000. Every time they get 70,000, They just win, mate.
I'll tell you what, is it not the ultimate fucking compliment to what the Warriors have built over there that they're not the automatic answer?
Yes.
Like, years gone past, you wouldn't have even imagined the Warriors to be in this conversation, let alone looking at other sides in the top four going, oh, they might need a home final more than the Warriors. It's incredible.
Oh, if the Warriors get it, like you said, like if they finish 1 and 2, I mean the Raiders, Sticky's a master of the ambush, so I could see a case there. And you're right about the Warriors. I think the Storm can. They've been used to, like Winston said, Warriors travel, Storm travel, all that kind of stuff. Maybe they need it at home, Storm, but I don't. I guess I'll tell you one thing: the Storm don't want to meet the Raiders at home because the Raiders love going to Melbourne.
Yep,
they've knocked them out a couple of times, so it makes for. I mean, I'm not disrespecting the rest of the other teams because, Broncos, Dolphins, Cowboys, like there's flashes there, but yeah, what we're seeing from these 4 teams, it's going to be a cracker final series.
Let's say one of these teams drops out of the 4. Who's the team you can see them dropping out for?
Well, I'll be interested to see what happens after Origin with Harry Grant, Cam Munster, those guys, whether they get rested, whether they're able to hold down the ship. The Cowboys, Panthers both having that draw sort of scares me a little bit. Like that's sort of one game that both of those guys would want.
Yes.
Geez, I love what the Dolphins have done. I could see them going on a run.
It has to take a toll at some point, doesn't it? Their
The
injury
injuries?
run
Yeah.
and just everything like.
They've still got one of the best 7s in the game, mate.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. It has to take a toll at some point with this Dolphins side.
Well, the ones
I'm
that-
tipping them to make the 8 for what it's worth. I think they'll be there, but I think top 4 they've got to chase down 3 wins on the Melbourne Storm. 2 wins, granted. The Storm have had a bye, 1 more bye than the Finn. I don't know if they're going to be able to.
Could the Roosters do it?
Quite possibly. I think round 27 Roosters South, I reckon those 2 teams are probably playing for a final spot there.
Awful. Awful spectator.
Dreadful. Miss me with that. I'm not buying into the Cowboys. I don't know about you.
Yeah. They're hard to get a read on the Cowboys. They're letting so many points.
Them and the Broncos. Like the Broncos looked amazing the other day, but if they come out in 2 weeks' time and shit the bed and still suck, I won't be blown away.
No.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think the big one out of that we didn't mention is the Sharks. They've fallen dramatically in terms of premiership, credentials.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I think they'll have a big game this weekend, but they are, for me right now, looking at the Sharkies, I think they are the sort of the definition of a pretender for me.
Thursday night, Dragons Sharks, loser, done.
As in missing the 8, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah, I still reckon the Sharks could lose that and still make the 8. But, mate, if the Sharks don't win this game, that's where I 100% put the red Sharpie through them as far as you're actually fair income, you can win this competition. I've got the red Sharpie out. It's floating above the paper.
So they've
at the
got
moment.
Dragons, Broncos, Storm, Broncos and Storm away. Then they've got Dolphins, Roosters. Then they've got South, Cowboys, Dragons, Titans. Yeah, they're on the bubble.
It's a huge view. That Sharks Brisbane game, that's another one that could be loser. See ya.
But we don't know, do we? Like Penrith, they're hanging around now.
Yeah,
Like
well-
everyone's still mathematical chance except the Titans.
Yes, like mate, the Panthers, for how poor they've been, they are,
1 win.
mate, they're 2 wins away from being 5th.
Don't give them a chance. I don't want to see them. If you're 5v8 week 1 and they're 8th, you do not want to see them.
And I'll tell you this much too. Ivan came out a few weeks ago and ruled his boys out of that game after Perth. I've heard he's now considering
No shit.
naming them and then seeing what happens.
Hey, boys, you won the series. You feeling good? Let's go. Saddle up.
Got history to make. Against the Warriors too. Fuck, that'll be a cracker.
We've won 4. We've got history to make.
Good.
Imagine, like we were talking about the top 4 and having to make the top 2. Imagine you have to travel Melbourne, Canberra or Warriors and then you run into Panthers week 2.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's not the same at Combank.
Yeah, fair.
It's
no,
not-
but it wouldn't be at Combank anyway. You'd get the home game at
Yeah,
least.
true.
Because like if you lose in the top 4, then you have to play Penrith the week after.
Yeah. What dogs at a core?
You'd be at a core, or they'd have to go to Melbourne or Canberra or
Yeah,
something.
fair enough.
Yeah, I would not want to play them come finals time. Though.
No.
Fuck that.
No.
You'd come in at $1.80, you'd just be like, fuck. With Nath Cleary on the other side of the park. Miss me with that. He's lost, 2 finals games in 5 years?
That's ridiculous, eh? When they put those stats up, it's like, I think it's Isaiah, like he's won 70-something%.
Yeah,
Is it
it's insane.
ridiculous?
Yeah.
Like I played 215 and won 50%, I thought, or 52%, I thought, fuck, that's not
Those
bad.
numbers always rock me when you look at Cam. I think Cam Smith's win percentage for his career is like 66. I'm like, you're in the best team ever for 20 years. You cheated for 4 of them. How the fuck's it only at 66? It's wild. Those numbers always rock because you always look at these teams. You go, oh, if you're in the top 8, like you're winning 60% of your games every year.
Yeah.
But for Cameron
But he had
Smith,
430 of them, though.
Oh, sure, but what? 380 of them were in a top 3 side.
I'm just saying, he had a lot more sample size.
Oh, for sure, but like he also had a lot more size to win.
What's Yo played? 250.
Yeah, something along those
We'll
lines.
keep moving. Winston can do that. But I think, he's only lost like 40. No, more than that.
Well, who would have
He
the
had a
best
couple
win
of-
percentage?
he had a couple of rough years
Cooper
with
Cronk
me.
would have to be up there.
Who has the best win
Yeah,
percentage of all
I'm
time?
on it. Give me a sec.
I reckon it's CC and Dry.
Come
I
back to
reckon
me.
those years of the Roosters would fucking knock him up as well.
Isaiah's played 257.
And one.
Played some pretty dog shit Penrith teams before the
Yeah,
good
that's
ones.
Thanks, mate.
Come back to me on win percentages.
I knew you were in them too.
14 were okay.
Get Cooper Cronk's win percentage. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that. All right. We done there?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Pick your final 4 right now.
In order?
Yeah. Regular season.
Regular season, I think it will go. Who's one at the moment? Is Canterbury at 1
Yeah.
right now? Yeah, I
There's-
think it'll go Canterbury. I actually don't think Melbourne will be in the top 2. I reckon it'll be one of the other 3. I think Melbourne will be 3 or 4, probably 4 if I'm honest. I reckon it will be. No, with those 3 buys, it's hard to bet against the Raiders. I'll go Dogs, Raiders, Wild. I reckon it'll be exactly as it is now.
Raiders, Wars, Dog Storm.
Raiders, Wars, Dogs, Storm. So you reckon Dogs are going to drop to 3rd?
Potentially.
Interesting. Okay.
They're only
Cooper
their
Cronk, sorry to jump in. Cooper Cronk, 70.9% win percentage.
best win percentage of all time.
Yeah.
Min say.
70.9.
70.9.
See,
I'll double check that it's the
it
most.
says to your
part.
point, though, like, you would think 80s.
You think 80s? No one's close to 80s.
Like, if that was a trivia question.
But that's Cooper Cronk. He finished his
what's
his
the
career
minimum,
with 3
though?
premierships.
Minimum's 300 games, 200 games.
200, I think, is fair.
200.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that would be even in the. I don't think there is.
Cleary
I
hasn't
think
played
it'd be-
200 yet, I don't think. So
Who?
Cleary hasn't played 200 yet.
Surely not. He'd be closer than he should be, though. But even him, like, because he started so young, like, he would have struggled early on. Not struggle, but he wouldn't have been at the same
Well, he was
height.
0-1 with me as his house partner. Back in Melbourne.
Cleary's
Can I just-
played 183.
Yeah. Can I just say,
How many's he won? What's he at?
Come back to me on that.
you know when Nelson ran over everyone the other day?
You have to know.
And you
The other night.
Yeah, the other night. And you said, that's what he did to me in my last game. I dislocated both fingers. I couldn't get them back in. And we lost. And I went to my now wife's hotel. And she said, what's wrong? I said, it's done. And she said, what, your fingers? I said, no, my NRL career. And she goes, why? I said, did you not see Nelson just running over me and like picking me out of the line? So thanks very much, Nelson. Doing good things with Big Stepper these days.
Was that like genuinely the moment? For
Yeah,
you?
I knew. Yep.
What part of the season was that?
Maybe around 15-ish.
So what, in round 13, were you thinking I've got more years?
No, I played in the Raiders game. I think we won up at Bathurst.
Yeah.
And I think, we had a good win. I made thought I made a couple of good plays, but we went to Melbourne and
Raiders game in Bathurst, was that insane one that Moiser and Peachy or
nah,
a different
that was
game?
a year after that,
Year
that
after,
one.
okay.
But no, I just knew, like, obviously Gus had texted me straight after the game. Most weeks he did. And I just knew straight away, like, Nath had come in. He was so professional that week. And I just knew that I just didn't have a good game. And I was like, it's done.
So that was round 15. You had another, 10 games to go or something? Did
I
you?
played against Blacktown the week after, me and Chico Seguiara.
Yeah.
And not our best game, we won.
Yeah.
And then I played one more week. I just said, I'm going to England. Looking back, I wish
I
I just
forgot
stayed
about
and
that.
played in
Yeah,
reserve
okay.
grade. And
So was that your last game in the NRL?
yep,
Yeah, right.
Nelson footprints all over my headgear and 2 dislocated fingers.
Yeah, right. Nice little postcard to take away.
Yeah, thanks, Nelson. Appreciate it.
Shout out to him. What do you got for me, Vince?
I can't find the highest win percentages, but Cleary is well above Cronk. He's at 77%.
Wow.
See, that's
That's fucked.
7 3/4 games out of 10 you're winning.
Not to mention, he's like this. It
40
would have
of
gone
those have been
down this
finals.
year. It was probably 80% at the start of the
Yeah.
year. Wow.
He's played like 26 finals games or something, hasn't he?
Yeah, if they miss finals altogether this year and they reload and come back next year and they win it, like you're looking at him going, oh, like as far as final stats go, it's going to get like into Brady kind of stupid areas with
Yeah.
those stats because if they don't make it this year, he can't
They
lose.
talk
the
about
finals.
Mahomes now in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they talk about he's on the path.
Yes.
What's he won? 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cleary's won 4
Yeah.
in a row
and lost one.
and lost one.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like even Brady, who won 7, had ones he lost 2 by arsey plays. Like he's won 4 in a row. Anyway,
How old's Nath? What is he? 29?
27.
27?
Let me
28?
check. I think he's, off the top of my head, I think 27 or 28, but I will check that.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
he's 27. He debuted with me. He was 18 in 16.
Right, feels like he's been
27.
Yeah.
27
So he's got another 8 years minimum.
minimum. Yeah,
And he looks after his body, so probably another 10 years.
yeah. Sports science will only help him. Yeah, fuck, wild. All right, let's talk Sammy Walker. Made a return to New South Wales Cup last week. I think he played 40 minutes, a couple of good things in there and whatnot. Coming into the first grade side this week. At halfback, they've put Savala with him at 5'8". You called this a while ago, to be fair. The long kicking game of Savala would be too important to let him drop out of the side. On the bench, and obviously, guys, Origins, so Connor Watson's not there, et cetera, et cetera. You've got Sandon Smith, who's there. You've also got ZDC, Zach Docker-Clay, one of the great blokes. How do you see this all playing out for the Roosters? If they're playing finals week 1, what does the side look like?
This is the side.
7-6-14?
Yeah, this is the side. Connor Watson at 9, Santa Smith at 14 potentially, but they're letting him go, aren't they? Like
Apparently.
they've made rumours that they've letting him go. I think they like the fact that he can cover 7 and 6. The one thing about the Roosters is they haven't had to change their style too much without Sammy being in there because they've had guys that I say this like, aren't really like system. Well, in the past they had where they have Cronk and Cleary get to that point, come to this point, wait for that person to make a mistake. Now it's sort of 2 young guys that are just playing over the ad line, and then Teddy just gets offload around the middle. They bash and barge and sort of bit like how the Warriors and Raiders are playing, right? So they sort of know their style. They haven't had to go. They won't have to change it too much. So I think Walker comes in and dominates the 7.
Yep.
Be interested to see how they use Hugo, whether he goes back into his shell and sort of takes a backward step, because it's always hard as a halves partner. You've heard me say it a million times. Like if you're cooking, I can't get frustrated by that. I've got to keep going to the game, kick chase for a little bit, still organise my edge, be defensively good, all that kind of stuff, which I think with Hugo, they can do that. He may goal kick as well. That's the other thing. So they may not let Sam goal kick. I don't know. Did he kick on the weekend?
Don't know, but I mean, returning from that injury, you probably just let
Hugo kick, right? He's been doing it. So, I think that this is to be the Roosters' best side. I don't know much about the hooker. You'd know, Ben.
Yeah, he played in the same club team as Josh for a few years at Bondi United. He's very good kid too. He's just had a few injuries that have held him back, but Benaya's the real deal. I still think they'll have Watson at 9 and Sandon Smith at 14 when they're at full strength. But I do also think, mate, Connor Watson's done a very good job at 9. I don't think he is a 9, and I don't think it's his best spot. I love him at 13. I think the Roosters are at their best when he's at 13, personally. So if they could find a way to get Benaya at 9 and Sandon Smith off the bench, what are your thoughts on Connor Watson and his best spot in this team?
I know what you're saying but I like him at 9 because he just hasn't a zip about him. But when he starts, I do understand what you're saying. Like, if he was starting at 13, it'd totally change their attack in terms of over the ad line and being able to play at the back and that. I like what Victor Radley's doing. I think he's in some really good form right now.
Yeah.
He's in career probably for
The
a
thing
while.
about Victor is, though, like, he looks so good, he looks great, and then it just always happens he's out for 3 weeks. He's out,
Yeah.
and they have to rejink everything. And
I think that you wait for that to happen. You can't predict that. Yeah. I haven't seen much of Benai, but I'll be looking forward to watching him on the weekend.
his ruck recognition's very good. He's just got a good footy IQ.
Well, this must be the plan because you don't put Sand on Smith if you don't trust Benai.
Yeah.
Like you would start Sand, or maybe that's a late change where they start him and bring
No,
Benai off the bench.
I do think that's how they'll run.
So, I think that's going to be the team. And as for Sandon and ZDC, I played with ZDC. It's one of them's going to drop out. I think there'll be a late drop out. Someone else, Ethan King, Lasalu. They'll have. I reckon they'll have another big bopper on the bench. I don't think they'll run with 2 hookers.
Finals week 1, Connor Watson at 9, Sandon at 14. What's your plan there? Like, how many minutes are you expecting Sandon to come in and play 9
Well,
for?
I think a couple of years ago he played against Melbourne and came off the bench and played 9. You see where your front row's going. Like if they started, see, no Lindsay Collins this week either.
Yep.
Like if Nafahu White gets through his first 25, you could push Victor up front, and
Yep.
then that Benai comes on or Sand on, whoever, they've got that 14 role, and then Connor Watson goes back to 13. So I think I was lucky enough to play against Connor in his debut. He doesn't get enough credit for how much he's developed into it, like a tough little bastard.
Bloody oath. Yep.
Because he was like a half, touch background, super fast, super silky with this ball. Now he's like playing middle for Origin and
doing
just
it for 80
folding
minutes.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So loved
still looks
loved
that good.
watching his development.
Fucked.
Oh, he's hot. Yeah, he's very hot.
Mate, we were at the Hello Sport Christmas party last year, and it was like you had to wear pink or something. And he showed up wearing a shirt that only he could possibly wear.
Only he and Zac Efron could wear.
Yes, the 2 of them.
Yes.
And he kept saying, he goes, do I look weird? Am I sweating? I'm going, Connor, shut the fuck up.
You look weirdly hot.
You could put a pink garbage bag on. You'd be the best looking bloke here. Please shut the fuck up.
It's been a transformation. I've loved. And I think the best thing for his career too was coming back to the Roosters.
I agree with
A
you.
big call.
Yep.
Yeah, he could have stayed at the Knights probably for more money. Being the number 9 for the next 10 years, but he came back to chance himself. He wasn't the starting 9 when he came back here. Brandon Smith was. And now he's earned his place. And I loved what he's done.
I'd not come to the Roosters, but I'd love to see KP make a similar decision for the betterment of his career.
He's not the only one. I heard you talk about Tino Fast or Malawi. the
Oh,
other day.
mate. Fuck.
Did I read correctly that he's got clauses?
Mate,
every year?
mate. I don't think it's been reported. If he doesn't have clauses in that contract, he's potentially got the dumbest manager of all time. You couldn't possibly sign an 8 or 10 year deal with the fucking Titans. Mate, I want an hour by hour clause in that fucking thing.
Shout out. Called here a couple of months ago. Kaipi's Paul, Tigers.
Yep, very good. Mate,
Suits that team. That's exciting for me.
I love his Instagram post that he put out. Did you read the caption on it? Just talking about how he can't wait to play for Benji, blah, blah. I thought, fuck, there's a message in that, in my opinion. And you watch, Benji will let him play his natural game. He'll play him on the right side of the field. He'll allow him to offload the football. I reckon it's going to be a great signing.
The other person that needs to come back if he ever sees this is Will Price. I can't believe the Knights let him go. I cannot believe the Knights let him go. He's out of the box. He runs the ball. He's something a little bit different. Like I see they got Jackson Hastings back in the side this week, finally. Like you can't tell me that pairing someone that can get him around with a live wire like that, Fletcher Sharp at fullback during these periods would have been a chance to see him. I don't know what happened there.
What are they going to do this week if Jacko gets man of the match? Like, what if they win this week? They have a good win. He gets MLM. What the fuck are they going to do next?
You know
week?
what I'll be interested to see with Jacko this week is his first 3 or 4 touches, and if they get into shape around him, because he's been out of the side for that long. If they get into shape around him, and AOB's just looking down, going, "Holy shit! Like, look how they move into space there." He's got that person organised. They're coming back. They've got 2 or 3 plays in a row, and it feels fluent. You can't take him out because they can still make the 8. I can't believe I'm saying this.
No, you're right though. They can still make the 8. Like
They're 15th, but if they come out this weekend and so let's say they lose 26-20, but everyone's in motion and like there's a vibe there, there's an excitement because I think they've had 4 halves this year, like halves of footy where they don't score in the first half.
Yeah.
So if they come out and score like 18 points in the first half, surely the leaders sit down with AOB and say, mate, let's just, if we're going to go on a run, and they can do it. Well, it's not like they're the Titans and they've had 3 buys and they're not winning games. Like, they could win some games. It's going to be an interesting watch.
Yeah, well, some of the fans want him, but they don't know what they're talking about. So can't get anything out of you.
Big watch this weekend. The halftime walk-in. Big watch. You know, if I was AB, I'd get down on the sideline. Get amongst it. Embrace it. We've all been booed before.
Yeah, fucking oath. Yeah.
Get into it. Yeah, beautiful. I'm down here. I'm riding with my team. Ricky Stewart style. Get down there on the sideline.
All right, question of the week. This one comes from the Rooster. I'm very excited about this one. One of my favourite players of all time. I'm going to just talk about him for a minute without saying his name, and we'll see when you jump in and can tell me who it was. A ball player, was very versatile, could play fullback, could play 7, could play 6. Took a team to a grand final at one point with an incredible finals run, was unbelievable. State of Origin representative for Queensland. His career was cut short. Ended very, very immediately, essentially. Was the heir to a legend that retired that we thought he's going to be the guy for the next 10 years or so. Anything coming to mind?
Oh, first sentence, I thought Craig Wing.
No, not Wingy.
But-
After Wingy. In the last 10 years, I personally think he came up with the biggest moment in rugby league history, in my opinion.
Michael Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mick Morgan. Where would Michael Morgan rank in terms of halves if he was still playing today?
Oh, he'd love today's game.
He'd be fucking all over it.
He'd be so good. Imagine him and Dearden in the halves. Yeah, White Lightning. Good question. I can't remember too much about his kicking game. I think that would be a work on.
Yep.
But he'd kind of be like what Cameron Munster is right now. I think I could see a lot of similarities where he made massive plays.
Yep.
Fast, run the ball. But I still thought he shone best when Jono, like he had a directing half that put him in. But in terms of 5'8", I mean, you know, I say this respectfully, like there's yeah, if you talk about the top 5'8" and you ask 10 people, there's probably going to be a lot of different answers in there at the moment.
I don't think there's a clear guy.
No, but as halfbacks, I think you can sort of narrow it down to that sort of top 5. Everyone would have the same, whether it's a different order or not. But he was so fast. I think he's the only person, or someone will pull it up now, probably Winston or something. But I remember at one stage I got an intercept out at Penrith and he ran me down quite easily, and I thought, I'm either slowing down or he's extremely fast.
Yeah.
Because it was only over like 20 or 30 metres, but such a great player, tough, played above his weight. Would he be playing for Queensland over Munster? Different, same but different. I think Munster's probably a little bit more physical in that sort of term, but such a great player.
I think if Mick Morgan wasn't injured, and I don't know exactly how the timeline lines up, and I know that Ben Hunt was fantastic in Origin, I reckon Michael Morgan probably could have had a mortgage on that 14 jersey.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, when did KP come in?
Yeah, well and truly after he was retired. When did Michael Morgan... Can you have a look at when he retired? I reckon because
Didn't he retire in 19?
Yeah, but he was on the books for a year. Like, we didn't know until the end of the season from memory. I'm pretty sure he was like coming back, and then...
Because they had the run in 17.
Where he killed it.
We just brained him and Tamalolo.
JT retires 18. I reckon he got injured in the 18 season that he didn't return 19. So, yeah.
It says he retired 21.
So he was 20.
really that late?
20 was his last season then.
Fuck, I thought it was much earlier than that.
20 was his last season. 21 was the... But,
how old's Michael Morgan right now? Can you see there on your...
33.
That's crazy.
So young.
That's crazy, man.
Okay, let's do a little experiment.
Okay.
Michael Morgan at his best. If you're the Bulldogs, would you want Michael Morgan as a 1 or a 6 in your side over the current 1 and 6?
Oh, I think you'd want him...
You want him over Tracy Wright?
I think so.
Okay. Canberra Raiders? I think you'd have him over both. Strange and Weeks?
I think you'd have him more as a 6.
Sure. Yeah. In one of those spots, you'd take him. Yeah. And if I had to choose between Weeks or him, I would take him as a fullback, I think. Warriors, Chance, Chanel Harris-Tavita. Yeah. You take him. Melbourne, Pappy and Munster.
No.
Over neither?
Nah.
Pappy, you couldn't have the conversation?
Nah.
Okay. Sharkies, Tricky, Will Kennedy. I'm taking him over both of them. I know you love Trick, but
I love Tricky.
I still take Mick Morgan.
Yeah. Well, there's. Geez, they could use his style.
Yeah, fucking oath they could.
They
Yep.
could use his style.
A winner too.
Yeah.
Cowboys, I'm taking him. I take him at 5'8" over Purdue. Drink.
I'd have him over Drinky.
I think I would have him over Drinky too.
I'd have him over Drinky.
The stats might say otherwise, but I'd have him over Drinky
How
personally.
far are you going down here? Broncos?
You tell me when to stop. You tell me when you've had it. I just think I think in the history of our game, because he retired early and he was in JT's shadow for a while there, I think he's criminally slept on of how fucking good he was. If he wasn't playing for the Cowboys, I'm sorry, JT isn't an immortal. He can't be. He wouldn't have a comp. Don't tell me Canterbury fucking bullshit. He wouldn't have a comp and he wouldn't have that moment.
JT would still be immortal.
No, he wouldn't. I'm not convinced he's going to be an immortal still.
JT?
Oh, I don't think he's a shoe-in.
Do you think there's too many from this era?
I think that hurts him for one. Yes, but I'm sorry. Like if he doesn't own a team and win a premiership with them and have that moment.
When you talk Immortals,
Yeah.
we obviously got heated in our first show about
Yeah,
Nathan Cleary. Do you just talk? Are you thinking regular season or are you thinking whole career, Origin, Australia?
Whole career and
I don't think you place enough emphasis on state of origin in Australia.
no, I do.
JT's part of the 8 in a row.
Yeah, for sure he is. Yeah, and that's. I think you need to do it in both fields, though.
Yeah.
I think if JT was to become an immortal without winning a comp, I would go, okay, I don't agree with it, but I think after Wally Lewis, he's probably the best Origin player we've seen. Like he was fucking incredible in Origin. Yeah, there's no denying.
So
that
who's
whatsoever.
the crop now? Like Cameron Smith will be one.
Yep.
Thurston.
Who
Lockyer?
would you have, Cronk or Thurston?
I'd have Cronk, and I know that's a hot take, but fuck, winning has to matter at some point. Cronk did it in everything he was in, he won. He went to different clubs, he won. The 8 in a row was great. When did it end? Cooper Cronk left the field for an hour and a half.
Jeez, it's a great discussion, isn't it?
It's the best discussion ever. Me and Matty the Waterboy,
Lockyer?
I would have Lockie. I would have already had Lockie and Freddie personally. I think they should both be there. But maybe I'm a little bit biased. They were my favourite as kids.
If we're sitting here, I mean, the podcast in 10 years' time, are you going to be happy if there's like 35 Immortals? Or do you want a smaller number?
I would rather. I've said it before. I think they should draw the line. I think they should make Freddie and Lockie Immortals. They should draw the line at 2008. The Immortals were for the first 100 years, and then we start something for the next 100 years. And you
So Cam
actually
Smith
put
doesn't make
structure
the
into it.
100-year Immortals.
Mate, Cam Smith's like Brady. You could split his career in half and he could be immortal for both of them, in my opinion. What I would do, though, is have Cam Smith at the start of the next crop. I'd have the big three from Melbourne as the start of my next crop.
Yeah, well, Slater, is he immortal?
I think he's the best fullback to ever play the game, so probably.
So you're going to have Slater, Lockyer, Freddie, Smith.
Well, for me, if I was doing my way, Freddie and Lockie are in the period before. And I'd probably throw in a Sterling or a Brett Kenny or someone like that.
Yeah.
Terry Lamb.
I could hear the arguments for Terry Lamb. I could definitely hear the arguments for Terry Lamb. But yeah,
Lazarus?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't just add halves and 5/8 and...
No, you can't, but Lazarus is probably the only front row I could hear the argument for because of the comps that he won.
Okay.
Like for years, mate, like it was Webke and 7
Do you understand what the criteria is for
No, I don't. No one
Immortals?
does.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't. That's what I'm saying. I think we need to draw the line and go, hey, this Immortals thing was fucking cool. It was great. It sold a bit of port, but we're actually going to start something now that actually has a set criteria of what you have to achieve, what you have to do. Because the other thing is, like, I think for the first 100 years, or for the last 30 years anyway, Origin elevates guys to a new level. Like Origin for 30 years has elevated guys to a level that Taumalolo couldn't get to.
Yeah.
Realistically. Like Taumalolo.
Will we ever see the day there's a Kiwi immortal?
Your fucking oath we will, mate. I personally think in 50, 60 years it's going to, like, I don't.
Who's the first one?
Could be Isaiah. As far as a, like, Polynesian immortal. I think so.
Not Stacey.
No.
Didn't win.
Didn't win a comp.
SJ? Benji?
No way.
Do you think Critter
Benji
can
made
get to that
finals
level?
twice in his last 10 years. He's a legend of the game, but when you're putting guys into the top 0.001%, you got to fucking nitpick. Okay. You can't put Benji in when you don't put, if people are saying, oh, I don't know if Cronk should be.
Yeah, okay.
Cronk
I love
forgot about more premierships than Benji had.
I love it.
I think it's the best chat in the world, and you can offend so many people, but you have to be nitpicky.
GI?
GI I could hear the argument for. I think GI, I always sort of go, he's just that tier below. But, mate, I was looking at GI's fucking thing the other day. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and you can read into the salary cap stuff however you want to read into it. That's up to you. But in my opinion, GI was at one point the best fullback in the game, at one point the best centre, at one point the best 5'8" in the game. Like, that's got to mean something.
And you can't compare GI without the Trell, of course.
Exactly. Yes. But like when you talk about GI, that's the other thing that stands up for me when it comes to Freddie and Lockie is that Freddie was the best. Lockie was the best fullback and 5'8" in the game. Freddie was the best 5'8" lock centre, whatever the fuck you want it to be. I think.
Can we just keep going? Like, can we just make this like a Hello Sport one where we just go for 6 days and just get on the
We
piss?
just sit on the lounge for a few hours.
Yeah,
the off-season
I'll call
sessions.
my missus. Yeah, it'll be sweet. No. Yeah, great chat.
You know who
Great
the other
chat.
one that I think is a very good shot to be the first Polynesian immortal? If Critter wins a comp with Canterbury, that'll be his 4th premiership, and he'll end the drought for Canterbury. If he wins something with Samoa, he's already done it for New South Wales and killed it. He doesn't have that many more boxes. Like if he wins one with Canterbury, he's won double the comps that Joey won. He's done it at 2 separate clubs, and he's taken one of them from the bottom to the top before he's 25. It's fucked up.
Yeah, agree. His legacy, the World Cup next year, I think will be the best World Cup.
Yeah, and I think the first one out of Izzy or Critter to win a World Cup, I think that changes it. Changes the narrative instantly.
So good.
Super exciting. Where were we, Michael? How the fuck did we go from where does Michael Morgan fit in?
It's because we're two nuffies that like each other,
I
mate.
love that. I absolutely love that.
We get deep here. We get deep.
Yeah, Morgo's career, though, cut way too short. An absolute fucking weapon. Right and wrong from last week.
Yes, this was. I was going to text you. I think I got the wrong. I think we all got Manly wrong. I'm just loading it up. I got the Sharkies wrong. I was bullish on the Sharkies at
I
home.
picked the Sharkies like a dirty nose. That was going to be my correct.
I believed the hype. I did tip the Dolphins though. I think you were bullish on the Dolphins as well. Broncos, I said they'd blow the Titans apart. You were happy with the Titans start.
Yeah, I like the Titans in that
And
one.
I also, probably my big one, I can't remember if I said it on radio or not, but I said that the Bulldogs would blow the Para Eels away 30-12, I think I said.
No, you said that here.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you
I tried
nailed
to
it.
find it
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
show.
I'm sure you said it off camera. You definitely said it. You said it because I was on the opposite.
I tried to find it, but I tried to, when they didn't take the penalty at the end,
Yeah.
I was so upset because I had like a full video text, like just going, I'm the man. Told you.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
I remember it was, and I mentioned this on Bloke this week. I remember it was about 2.5 years ago. I was sitting on the Bloke show. It was me, Kempy, and Sandor was in, right? And I was talking to them, and I forget what week it was or whatever, but a team had like a heritage jersey that everyone was like, "That's fucking hecky, that's great." And I said to them, I guess as former players, like, when you were given a kit that you just knew looked mad, like, did that give you a boost? Like, did you feel keener to play? And they went, no, it's just another jersey. And I just sat there and went, what the fuck? I knew you'd be the opposite. When I watched those, and I was on the Titans, when I watched the Broncos run out the other night, and I saw Reece Walsh with his chest out like he's fucking Bowden Barrett, I went, shit. I'm going to get pumped here.
Yeah.
Absolutely pumped.
First, you got excited.
100%. I
Probably
couldn't-
didn't get excited for the brown and white
Yes.
Panthers ones.
I was going to say, would you have had too many good ones? Like the Dragons don't move away from
They
it.
don't move away from it. We had the Indigenous ones for Penrith, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Got the Anzac Day one. I didn't play in the game, but they took the sponsors off.
Really?
For that game. It's the only time it's ever been done. Yeah.
I have
they
no recollection of that.
I think it was
whatsoever.
2015 potentially, but they took all the sponsors off.
Yeah,
They just
right.
had the flags and the
That's
Anzac.
fucking cool.
Yeah, that was cool. But, mate.
Did you have any cool
100
Roosters ones when you were there?
Nah.
No, it was.
100%. Well, it wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
When I debuted, it wasn't really a thing. And like you said, the Dragons didn't really go away too much
Yeah.
from it. But when I saw the black the other night, I'm with you. I just went, there's only 2 jerseys I would buy that weren't, like, I'm a Celtics guy. I don't have, like, Allen Iverson jerseys. I just have Celtics jerseys. Shit, like, everyone goes, shit colour green. You go, I don't care. Fuck. There's only 2 jerseys I would buy in the NRL, ever, that weren't Dragons ones, or Penrith, or Roosters.
Yeah.
The black one the other night, and the Indigenous one with Cliff Lines on the front for Manly a couple of years ago. They're the only two I would spend my money on.
So I want you to clip this up because this is something I feel very passionate about. I think every year at Magic Round, they should do the colour rush that they do in the NFL. And the other night is a perfect fucking example. Imagine if every single Magic Round teams were just in, Dragons were just in all
Magic
white,
Round
Canterbury was
jersey.
all blue. And it was Magic Round kits. So for the history of the game moving forward, you could look back at the last 30 years of Magic Rounds and you would just know it instantly.
Yeah.
That's Magic Round. It's colour rush. They're all Raiders just being fluoro green all the way down. You'd have, every team would fight to be in all black. One team would get to do it each year. I think it's an absolute
And you could make
no-brainer.
it the mental health Magic Round.
Fucking
something
oath.
like that, where you just got behind it. All the sponsors got behind it. What the Broncos did the other day is leading.
100%. Now that one, and sorry, I wasn't aware of that Panthers jersey, but now that one sponsor has got on board and all the sponsors have gone, okay, let's just go all black.
They're
you
still
do it
on
for
there,
Magic
though.
Round. They're still on there for sure, but you do it for Magic Round now. You put every team in colour rush kits. They are head to toe in just the same one colour, Power Ranger style, and you just let them go.
PVL, Andrew Abdo, we're happy to be, what would we call ourselves? Magic Round advisors.
I already call myself the guru, so I probably can't add any more.
Yeah, but we've got to
stupid
be a
fucking
team.
titles.
We've got to both get paid and both get invited up there for the Magic Round mental health colour rush.
Hey, things going your way, you'll be up there
Oh,
next year,
please.
okay? We'll see.
I begged to get on the trip last year, and Kat was sending me stupid videos of you and her like doing shit at the Caxton and that. I just want to have a beer with the bloody brilliant guys, those big boppers up there.
They are good fellas, and Darcy will love being called a big bopper. Not much to him. Klutzy's a big bit of gear.
Yeah.
Have you met them?
No, I haven't.
No, you'd really like
it. Just seems like a content bloody glaze fest up
it
there.
is. It is. It's fantastic. You've been in that room up in the Caxton Hotel?
I've been to the Caxton once, 2017 Origin Game 3. I think Cronk did the windscreen wiper kick to Val Holmes.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how I remember that. Okay, I just love footy. And
You know what's fucked up? I reckon I was at that game. That's
Yeah.
the one Origin I've been to at Suncorp too.
Yeah.
That was that. Was it? I remember that week because it was the week that Cameron Smith was criticising Game 2 for not running the football enough, and he literally did a media that week where he went, "Yeah, okay, I'll run the football."
Yeah.
And he got Woodsy and Clemmer, I think it was, at marker all night, and he just fucked with them, just puppet mastered them all night. And the poor bastards were exhausted. The night I arrived at that game, I walk into the stadium, the under-19s, New South Wales,
Yep.
Queensland.
That was when Brabham Best scored the
I
length of the
walked into
field.
the
That was
stadium.
it.
Kid took a shot at field goal for Queensland. The ball came down and Bradman caught it and went and scored.
Yep.
And I remember them putting his name on the thing going, Bradman Best. I go, that can't be fucking real. There is not a world where that human can actually exist. Bradman Best.
Yeah.
Now he's a household name.
And
Doing it for New South
fast. How
Wales.
fast he was.
And then, 8 years later, he scores the match winner in Origin 3.
Opposite. Yeah, he
cool.
scored under the post, scored in that left corner.
Hectic. So good. I got heavily distracted there and no shock to anyone. Wince, we're going to go through the games this week. You're going to lead us through. We're going to give our thoughts on each game. Talk to me. What do we got?
Thursday night, 7:50 at Shark Park. Bit of a local derby. Sharks, Dragons.
Sharkies, Dragons. Sharks at $1.32 on Neds. Dragons at $3.40. I'm going to put the balls on the line. I'm going to say the Sharkies win, and they win well. I think they go 13 plus in this game. What do you reckon?
Dragons last week. I think there's a response coming. I think Flano will have them ready to go down there. I'm going to say it's tight. I think the Sharks might win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons are in it with 5 to go.
Yeah, okay. I'll get you.
Is that a tip without being a tip?
Oh, yeah, it's
What
a
do you
tip
want me to put
without a
one?
tip. No, that's good. So you're taking the Sharkies in a tight one.
But I'm not going to, if I text you halfway through and go, Dragons.
Nah. You're not getting fucking splinters on the fence. You're tipping a team to win. Not sit on the fence, Kempy, mate. Don't be one of those. I need a result. Who's winning?
Draw.
I'll take Dragons.
I respect that more. Next game wins. What do we got?
Friday night footy, 8 p.m. Absolute blockbuster on the Gold Coast. It's the Titans and the Manly Sea Eagles.
Oh, jeez. I remember when you were the Gold Coast Titans, mate. Your Canterbury Bulldogs.
Don't worry,
now
I
he's
remember
sitting
as
on
well.
top, slinging shit at everyone. How good. The Titans at $3.50. The Seagulls at $1.30. I think DCE, after getting kicked in the teeth this week, me and Winston were talking before, you've got both of the Origin captains from last year that have been sacked, both of them playing in this game on the same team. Pretty wild. I think Manly put on a score against the Titans without Tino, unfortunately. What do you reckon?
Yes.
Good to have you here for that.
I
Don't overdo it with 2 words. Just hit the one out of the park, yeah?
Yes.
Say less. I love that. Wince, talk to me.
Knights Roosters Saturday 5:30 in Newcastle.
See, you put him off. He thought he had more than 4 seconds to prepare for that next game. You put him on the back fence early.
Roosters for me in this one, boys. A huge watch on Jacko and obviously Sam Walker. But I think the Roosters, if there was a team that's going to come from outside, and they're not that far off, from outside the top sort of 5 or 6 and go on a run, I think it can be the Roosters. They just need a little bit of luck with health in terms of Victor Radley and a couple of those guys. But, yeah, I think the Roosters, the Knights, I just want to see the Knights come out a bit carefree, loosey-goosey, try some things.
Yep.
You know, we spoke about it at the start of the show. Like, you're not going to lose, like, you're not going to win many games if you try and beat Penrith, because Penrith are trying to beat Penrith this year and they're losing.
Yep.
And they've done it for 5 years in a row. So, Knights, I'd love to see Jackson Hastings chip chase for Fletcher Sharp in like the first 6 minutes of the game, and the crowd just absolutely go bonkers.
Just do something early.
Something early. Or score, if you score a try, go back to back. Get the crowd into it. And AOB, get on the sideline. Roosters for me.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Roosters in this one. I'm going to call this week will be the little breakout game of Feketi starting in the front row.
Yep.
Newcastle missing some forwards. If you've been watching lower grade, you know how good he is. But I think he'll announce himself this week to the wider audience. He's at $8 on Neds for an anytime try scorer. Give me Roosters in that one. Next game, mate.
That was heaps of prep time, so thank you, boys. Cowboys, Dolphins, 7:35 p.m. in Townsville on the Saturday.
Dolphins at $1.55 on Neds. I like them. I like them to win well in this one. I do think, and I don't have any stats to back this up, I think over the last 2 years, the Cowboys have actually done really well during the bye period. They lose a heap of players, and I think they beat the Roosters last year in a close game. I think they might have knocked over the Sharkies last year as well during Origin. I like the Dolphins in this one. I just think Izzy's going too good. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, my favourite player in the NRL, Izzy Katoa. Injuries will start to take a bit of a toll, but not this week.
Not this
You
week.
have a look at there. Francis Molo, Kafusi, Finafuiaki, Keely, Donahoe at 13. I love that because I think he can go hammer and tong, and then Ray Stone can come on and do that. Yeah, they've got enough. Plus their backline's pretty much, I think, pound for pound better than the Cowboys. I've got the Dolphins.
Now I need to get your weekly expert opinion on this one. Drinkwater's Supercoach score this week.
Well, yeah.
Went 105 last week against Melbourne. in a
Did
loss.
he?
Yep.
Yep. And the week before, I think I tipped him for 110 and you sent 66.
He did fuck all the week before
Yeah.
that, but I think he's gone 400s in the last 5 games.
He's captain this week, so I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the Dolphins win, but I think he'll be up around the 103 mark. Is that happy? Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, it fucking means heat. Mate, this week in Supercoach, it is a very open, because it's a bye round, very open slather as far as captains. There isn't an obvious guy.
Okay.
He's probably in the top 5 or so he'll take 103. Last game of the week, Winston.
Not sure if anyone in this room's interested in this one, but Souths play the Dogs on Sunday, 4 p.m. South's home game, but I'll tell you what, I think there'll be more Dogs fans there.
I think that's a safe tip. South Sydney at 2.85 in this one. Cody Walker out with a groin injury. The Bulldogs at $1.44. Campbell Graham's on the extended. Didn't train today, so still a few more days to go and whatnot there. But I don't think I can go past Canterbury here. I was saying to Winst before, mate, I think that the Bulldogs over the last few years, every time Burton gets named as 18th man, they're filthy. I think they would have been stoked to see him at 18th man this week because there's just no controversy, nothing around starting Galvin in the halves. You get to see what he's made of for another week. I think the Bulldogs win this one. What do you reckon?
It says Bulldogs all over, but we've seen Rabbitohs in these games. I mean, they started, I know they fell away, but they started 12-0
bloody well.
against the Raiders. Humphreys and Sullivan in the halves. No Latrell, Jack White, and I mean, there's a case that they've got a better backline this week, the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, yep.
Colamatungi and Jai Arrow up front, Saliva Havili, there's no secret there. They're going to come through the front door. Duncan, Hubner, Aiken. Oh, what's the start?
The start for this one is, I reckon it's 8 or something like that.
My
7.5.
Yeah, my head says Bulldogs. I just think Rabbitohs might take this to the wire. I mean, there'll be a massive crowd there, but yeah, in a tight spot, Carraz into the centres. Even if he plays, they're going to have to move people around.
Yep.
Galvin and Sexton, yeah, that's untried. I'm trying to mount a case for Souths, and I'm doing a pretty good one, I think. I'm gonna tip Souths.
We're going to pose this to both of you. What side do you think Galvin plays on this week? What do you reckon wins? How do you reckon they'll do it?
I think they'll be safe and just play him left with Sexton right.
No.
Like I think Sexton will play 7.
But okay.
Nah, they'll put him on the right. That's the plan. This Sexton's got like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what fucking Rando can convince me of your side of it today. I think that like surely if he's going to be the guy, you're going to put him on the right because you're going to have Burton on the left long term, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but are we convinced that he's 100% locked into being the guy? Yeah, like Serrato seems a bit happy to just
You
sit
just
back
put
and
your
just let
starting
him-
7 in at 9.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty sure he's the guy.
I personally,
I'm going to go out on a limb. He's the guy.
I'd personally play Galvin on the right, but I don't know if Serrato will. I reckon Serrato will give Sexton every chance he can have to hold that jersey.
Did Bulldogs fans make anything of the Reed Marnie after the game stuff?
The Bulldogs fans make something of everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
It's good. Yeah, share your opinion that you told me before. I liked it.
Which opinion we talked
About
about?
Reed Marnie. Reed Marnie.
We sat here for 40 minutes and just talked Bulldogs, so my brain's fried at the moment. Yeah, which part? You have to remind me.
What you saw after the game.
Yeah.
Is there any concerns that...
I said that as a Dogs fan, I'm glad that he's upset because it means he wants to be playing. If he came off and he wasn't upset, it means that he's happy to go out. And I think he's going to come out this week and play for a spot. I said to Guru that a wise man once said, don't judge a player on their worst performance, judge them on how they react to it. And I think Reed Marnie's going to react to it, and we're going to see if he's going to keep his spot or not.
Yeah, when you said that quote, that was the only thing I pushed back on. Did he play poorly in that game?
It's not, and I'm not using that quote necessarily as he played bad, but like,
Just like a
the
low
pressure's
point.
on him,
Yeah.
and he's got a point to prove now. And I think his reaction to being hooked, if you want to call it being hooked, that's where we're going to see what the kind of player he is.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking it, Bulldogs fans.
In what
Once
way?
again, I'd play Sexton at 6 and Gavin at 7, but
They looked at the game. The easiest way to get him on was to give... You're not looking at Reed Marnie's reaction, I don't think. I think you look to see if Toby Sexton's going to be okay, if that was the for the next month, if that was what it was going to be, right? So to have him come off, sure, you want to see him upset, but he's playing good at the moment, Reed Marnie. I think he's settled into his role. His service is good. It's still the best at the club there. I don't think he has to come out and prove that he's the best hooker at the club. I think they want to... If they're going to win, he's going to be the 9 on grand final day. Surely they're not going to blow it up.
that's what I said.
You're confident he'll be the 9 on grand final day if they're there?
If they're... Why... They're first with him at 9. Is everyone saying something else? Have I missed something?
Mate, fucking, you pretty much got me over the line with the Hayward. I'm looking at that now going, I reckon he's a very good chance to be the guy.
With Galvin in the team now and Sexton off the bench.
No, I don't think Sexton's going to be in the team. I think Serrato's doing the right thing by everyone at the moment, giving everyone a chance and an opportunity. But I think he knows that Galvin will be his 7, Burton will be his 6. And I think it's pretty evident they're not huge on Reed at the moment. I think Reed is showing you that he knows that. If Reed's not there in 6 weeks, I'm not going to be blown away.
I will be. They're first.
Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon their best
Do you think
side...
Reed will be there next year?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
Okay, so we're not miles apart.
No, we're not miles apart. But I mean, if it's grand finals played tomorrow and it's the Dogs starting, Reed at 9, I think Salmon or Kurt Mann's at 13 and Hayward comes off the bench.
I reckon there's a good chance Reed could get faded out. I think. Am I imagining this, Vince? Was there a couple of just key penalties he gave away in the finals last year?
Yeah.
As
He
well,
was like completely blamed for just taking it too far. There was the one where Josh Curran ran in and he gave away the penalty and the game sort of swung there.
Josh Curran's up front.
I think with Phil Gould in particular, and maybe Serrato's in the same class, but Phil Gould in particular, you don't hear rumours and stuff unless he wants you to hear them. And, mate, the drums are beating for Reed at the moment. And maybe it's just unlucky. I don't know. But and I think you can see it in Reed's emotions at the moment that.
I think they were just all taken by surprise. I don't reckon there was like hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I reckon Cameron knew. And I reckon he probably had a quiet word to Jason Taylor and his other offsiders. And
Yeah.
I think that was, this is what I'm thinking. I haven't settled on it yet. And then the game comes up to where it was going to be and was like, righto, let's get him out there. What's the easiest transition? Do you take a 7 off and he has to, maybe you're right. Maybe Toby's earned that right to play a bit of 9 there, but Toby was surprised. Reed was probably thinking he's going to be the 7. So if Toby's surprised that he's gone into 9, Reed would be very surprised that he's getting taken off for Lockie Galvin to come in.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it could have just been a
Has
case
there ever been
of
more drama around a team that's coming first?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I said this to Winston before, I do appreciate, though, that Canterbury, yes, they're first, that this isn't enough. They're looking to fucking win a comp. And I don't think they can do it at the moment before they had Galvin.
No, correct.
Yeah.
But you're not saying that they're a better chance with Reed at 9?
I think they're a better chance with Hayward at 9, personally.
Have to wait and see.
I think they've outgrown Reed a little bit. I think they desperate. I said to Wince before, mate, if they win a comp in the next 2 years, send a ring in the mail to Reed because he arrived there when they were on the fucking canvas and put the dog back in Bulldog. But I just think they've outgrown him a little bit. I think Reed's writing on the wall. Fuck, it's going to be good in hindsight in 15 weeks to look back at this and see. I said to him before,
One of us will be right.
One of us will be right. Well, I hope so anyway. I was saying to him before, geez, I really hope the Bulldogs have just had a mic on Serraldo and a camera on him for the last 6 weeks. So if they win a comp this year, it could be the greatest fucking documentary of all time. It'd be one of the great sports docos, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. Knowing the conversations that went down about how do we do this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Does this take us over the top?
Oh, fuck, it'd be good. Even from the angle, I said to him before, like the angle of Stephen Crichton, his best mate is Jerome Law, who apparently can't fucking look at this kid.
Yeah.
But now he's getting around him and great leadership by Critter. Yeah, there's just so many bits to look at there. All right. Guys, make sure you jump onto the Neds app this week. Follow along with my unit scooper for this week. I have got Jason Saab to cross over for the Manly Seagulls. I've got Dom Young off a Nwanga Nutawase flick. I've got Bronson Cherry. I'm hoping the Galvin's on the left side. I want him with Cherry on that side. Then I've got the Dolphins minus 5.5, getting $14.26 on the Neds app. Jump on and follow along there. We will be live next Tuesday, 3 p.m. We will have a Origin 2 preview. Sowie will be joining us. Winston will be in the house, whether he's on camera or not. I don't know. We haven't got that far yet. But Tuesday, 3 p.m., we'll have a preview out for you guys with Sowie. And then Thursday, I have my live reaction, and we'll have a preview for the CBA Bowl, the Under-19s Origin. The short ball is going to be coming in, knows it inside out. Great fella. So a heap of content coming your way over the next week or so. Anything to leave us with?
Short ball, he's a very good follow.
He's a good man. He's a very good fella. Yeah.
If anyone knew more about CBAs, it's probably him.
Oh, mate, I actually think he's taken the crown. Yeah, mate, I'm happy for him. He fucking kills it. He does really, really well. So, yeah, keen to have him in here next week to get stuck into all that. How good? We done?
We're done.
Done and doosted?
Can't wait.
How good. All right. See you next week. Cheers, guys.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website